kind of a hard question to answer because I don't really know where all the things that we have today actually came from. I definitely think that it has to do with God. I think that God definitely set us up with enough material things to get us through what he wanted us to get through. But I think that we definitely matured more than he thought that we would, and we actually kind of turned the material goods that he gave us actually for bad. It comes back to the Adam and Eve, where created for good, but something evil actually came out of it. We were given things to survive, and we just kind of took it to the next level, and now we don't really get the same meaning out of the material goods that we were given.
I agree with a lot of the other answers that we've already heard in class, especially the one that combines the belief of science and the Big Bang Theory and the belief of God creating the world. I definitely believe that they can coexist together. They can combine to make one belief, and that's exactly what I believe. That there was some kind of creator, whether it be God or another God someone may believe in, and he or she created the world, and they said, "Let there be light," as we all know. And something along the lines of the Big Bang Theory and what is theorized to have happened, I believe that that is what happened, and everything in the world fell into place, and as we all know, man created the world to his liking. Overall, I just believe that the world itself was created by God. As it is said in Genesis, he said, "Let there be light," and let there be darkness, let there be everything else that is in the world. He let humans take over from there. If anything, he played the biggest part.
It comes back to the fact that I've been in CC class since I was in first grade, and how you and I are here to spread God's message. I know that it's very hard every day to be good to your neighbors and try to love one another. I understand that it is very, very hard, especially when people don't treat you right or something happens and you're having a bad day. It's really, really hard to just flip it over and pretend it didn't happen and try to be nice to somebody else. That's why I want to go into nursing. That's my job, help take care of people and to make sure that they're okay. Ever since I was little, I wanted to help try to make a difference in a lot of people's lives, but I never really knew how. The medical field and science really interests me. It's kind of combined the two passions of trying to help people and my love for science. I put them together and I found the career of nursing, and I think that my career will help me spread God's message every single day in my life, to be selfless and to make a difference in the world. I think that's our purpose, and I think we're here to spread God's message, go through every day being a little bit more selfless and not selfish. I think that we can spread God's message and we can care about one another.
I believe that the reason we're in this world is because of that creator, whether it be God or whoever else you believe in. They created it so that we would do good, and in the hopes that we would do good, which obviously we all know is not the case. There is evil in the world. I think that goes back to a lot of the things that we talked about in our philosophy class last year. I think it was Kant who said that our duty is to be good, and there was another philosopher that acknowledge the fact that God gives us the choice to be good, and some choose to be evil, some choose to be good, some choose to do both. I believe that that is what our Creator intended.
I definitely think love is real. I think love is that kind of feeling where you just have this unconditional trust, caring, just a sense of that you have somebody, like you're not alone. It's almost like a sharing of feeling. It's not that you each have your own set of feelings for one another. You share a feeling. Kind of like the love that you have with your family. That's just an unconditional, trusting love, and you share that. It's not that you each have a feeling for one another. It's you share the feeling of love. A friendship kind of love is kind of like a family love. Have somebody that you can trust. And I definitely think that you can't go through life without feeling some kind of love. If you don't feel a kind of love, whether you get that from family, friends, or from a significant other, I think that you aren't really truly living life. Some people have an issue with trusting somebody else and putting their heart into something, giving their heart to somebody else, actually having to trust somebody, but that's part of love. If you can't give that person your heart, you can't trust them, then you can't have love, and you'll never understand that unconditional feeling of just letting go.
Love is real, and most of us said that it's real in all different forms, whether it be with a friend, a family member. I believe that love is shown in all ways, even to our animal. We show love with everything we own, everything that we have. It brings us together, and it not only gives us a reason, but it serves as a reward for doing good and being a good person, being useful in society. Love helps us to grow, and it helps us to move on. I don't think it necessarily has to be true. It just needs to feel true. It needs to feel in the moment. That's what's important. That love is going to help you move on. It may not necessarily be there later on, but it's important now, and that's what really helps you to keep going. I also believe that it is really what holds our relationships together. Love is found through trust, through any good relationship. It brings people together, and it keeps us together. It keeps us whole. It's there, and even if we can't see it, we can feel it. As cliche as it is, I believe that it's important, and everyone definitely has experienced love and needs to keep it somehow in their lives. I believe that death, it is a big part of all of our lives. We can't avoid it as much as we try to, as much as we pretend to avoid it. It happens sooner or later, and I know, especially for young people, it's definitely a big pill to swallow. It's something that is hard for us to think about. Even though it may seem like it's far away from now because we're young, it's gonna be here sooner or later. We have to accept it. It's a normal part of life. I believe that its significance in our lives is to show us that we have done at least some good in the world. We have contributed to the world. We have helped people. We have helped our families, our friends, our loved ones. It signifies the time in our lives when, not necessarily that we're not needed anymore, but that it's not required of us anymore. Our work is done. It's our time to move on. In the afterlife, we're going to have a more eternal purpose. Eventually, we'll find out that our Creator put us on earth to do one thing. When we die, our soul lives on and has an even greater purpose that we will always fulfill for the rest of our eternal lives. There definitely is an afterlife, in my opinion, and I believe that it's there for all of us. I don't think that it's just denied to some. I think that all of us will experience the afterlife.
We're human beings, and we're not going to keep the thought of our dead ones alive because we're going to move on with our lives, and we're not going to want to keep staying in the past. I think that after all these thoughts, there has to be some form of afterlife. There's no way that we could be the intelligent beings that we are and not have some kind of afterlife. We're too smart. Just the miracle of life itself, there has to be some kind of miracle of death as well.
I believe that aside from what physically happens to us, we are either buried or cremated. I believe our soul lives on. The purpose of that is to watch after our loved ones and care for them in a way that we can no longer physically care for them. I think we've all experienced some kind of death in our lifetime. When, say, a family member dies and passes on, we always say they're watching over us, they're up there somewhere. We aren't 100% sure. No one is. No one can actually say what happens after death. I think that is one of those things in life that we're not supposed to know. We're not supposed to find out until we get to the afterlife. It's something that only God, whoever created this material world, they're the ones that know that. They're the only ones that are allowed to know that. I definitely believe that our soul will not always live on. Eventually move on to a more eternal life and a more eternal purpose, something that the Creator has in store for us. They have a purpose for us on earth, they have a purpose for us after death, after we're gone. I believe that our soul will live on after we die. It will seek to watch over the world and make sure that all is good.
Don't live for what happened in the past, and don't live for what could happen in the future. Look at the present and treat it like a gift. Today is the present, the past is the past, and we can only learn from what happened in the past. Our future is something that hasn't happened yet. It's not really a given that you're going to live each and every single day. It's more like it's a present. And I know that no matter how many motivational speeches that we hear, no matter how many presentations we see in high school, and no matter how many people we meet and amazing stories we hear, I think we always revert back to the fact that we don't really give a lot of thought to death. and we never really think that we need to make some major impact today. We have tomorrow to do it. We really don't have tomorrow. I was on 100% guarantee going to be here to be able to make a difference. So make a difference today that can make all the world tomorrow. But I say live each day like you are going to die tomorrow. You can look back at your life with absolutely no regret because you lived each day as if you're going to die the next. Completed each day with everything that you wanted for yourself.
I believe that faith is the most important thing, at least in my life. I believe that faith helps you to trust people, it helps you to love people. Most importantly, it helps us to believe in things that we may not be able to see, such as love. Definitely a good foundation for all those things. It helps us to believe in things that make us happy and do good in the world. And I believe that it's important to have all those things. Without faith, I don't think that anyone would be as happy as they are now. I don't think that we would be as strong as we are because faith definitely helps you to move on through things. I believe that everyone needs to have faith at least in something because it definitely keeps you going.
Without hope, a lot of things in this world wouldn't be. A lot of people that, if you think back in history, achieved the greatest things, I think they had to have hope. Hope that the difference that they wanted to make in the world would actually come true. Hope that they would make a difference. Hope that they could achieve greatness.